In 1970, a team of British scientists flew a plane over the ice of East Antarctica, dragging a radar antenna beneath it. They expected to see solid rock under the ice. Instead, their instruments picked up something impossible. A patch of ground so smooth, so perfectly flat, that it could only be one thing. Water, liquid water, sitting under more than 2 miles of frozen ice in the coldest place on Earth. That water had a name waiting for it, Lake Vostok. And it turned out to be only the beginning. Today, scientists have mapped over 400 lakes hidden beneath the Antarctic ice sheet. Not frozen, not solid. Liquid moving, and in some cases, alive. Just last year, researchers using a decade of European satellite data found 85 more of them. Active lakes that fill and drain like a hidden plumbing system running beneath the entire continent. And in the past 2 months, a new study revealed something even stranger. Beneath the ice, scientists have traced a massive network of buried basins stretching across East Antarctica, so large that researchers now believe several famous hidden landscapes, including the basin holding Lake Vostok itself, are actually connected pieces of one continent-sized structure. So the question is simple: what exactly is down there? And why does a frozen desert at the bottom of the world hide an entire world of its own? To understand this, you have to picture Antarctica correctly. Most people imagine it as a giant block of ice sitting on flat ground. That picture is wrong. Underneath the ice sheet is a landscape as complicated as anything on the surface of the planet. Mountain ranges taller than the Alps. Canyons deeper than the Grand Canyon. Valleys, ridges, and basins by the tens of thousands. Scientists have now mapped more than 30,000 of these hidden features. All of it sits under ice up to 3 kilometers thick, pressed down and hidden from daylight for millions of years. Lake Vostok itself, the biggest of these hidden lakes, is roughly the size of Lake Ontario. It stretches about 160 miles long and 30 miles wide, buried beneath Russia's Vostok station. And here's the part that stops most people cold. This lake has been sealed off from the outside world, from sunlight, from the atmosphere, from contact with any other water on Earth, for somewhere between 15 and 25 million years. 15 million years is longer than modern humans have existed. It is longer than most species alive today have existed. Whatever has been happening in that water happened alone, in total darkness, under crushing pressure, cut off completely from the rest of the planet. So how does water stay liquid under all that ice, in a place where the surface temperature can drop past minus 60 degrees Celsius? The answer comes from beneath, not above. Heat rising from the Earth's crust, combined with the enormous pressure of the ice pushing down from above, keeps the water from freezing. The ice sheet acts like a lid. The planet itself acts like the stove. In 1998, scientists finally drilled down toward Lake Vostok, cutting through 3,623 meters of solid ice. What came up in that ice core changed how researchers thought about life on this planet. Trapped inside were ancient air bubbles, atmospheric gases from a version of Earth that existed long before recorded history. And along with them, something scientists did not expect to find in a place this extreme: microbes, living organisms, or the traces of them. Adapted to survive in complete darkness, without sunlight, without contact with the surface world, in near-freezing water under immense pressure. That single discovery opened a much bigger question. If life can survive down there, cut off from everything, where else might it survive? This is where Antarctica stops being just a frozen continent and starts being a rehearsal for something much bigger. Scientists studying these subglacial lakes are not only trying to understand Antarctica. They are testing the instruments and methods they will eventually need to search for life far beyond Earth. Jupiter's moon Europa and Saturn's moon Enceladus both hide oceans of liquid water underneath thick shells of ice, in conditions that look remarkably similar to what sits beneath the Antarctic ice sheet right now. If microbial life can exist in Lake Vostok's darkness, it becomes a little more reasonable to imagine life surviving in the hidden oceans of those distant moons. But the story beneath Antarctica is not only about biology. It is also about the shape of the planet's future. The newest discovery, published earlier this year, revealed something researchers had not fully connected before. Using satellite gravity readings, magnetic data, seismic recordings, and radar mapping of the bedrock, scientists identified a giant fan-shaped network of basins running underneath East Antarctica. They named it the East Antarctic Fan-Shaped Basin Province. It links together several of the continent's largest hidden features: the Wilkes Basin, the Aurora Basin, and the Deep Basin cradling Lake Vostok into a single, continent-scale structure shaped by ancient tectonic forces deep inside the Earth. Why does the shape of rock buried under miles of ice matter to anyone living today? Because that hidden bedrock is quietly steering the ice above it. The contours of the land beneath the ice sheet control how fast glaciers slide, where meltwater pools, and which sections of ice are most likely to weaken first. Some of the regions sitting directly above this newly mapped basin system are among the parts of Antarctica considered most vulnerable to a warming climate. In other words, the hidden world beneath the ice is not just a curiosity from the deep past. It may help decide how the ice above it behaves in the decades ahead, and how much of that ice eventually reaches the ocean. Put all of this together, and Antarctica starts to look less like an empty frozen continent and more like a sealed archive. A place holding on to ancient air, ancient water, and possibly ancient life, in a landscape carved by forces from deep inside the Earth long before humans existed. Every radar pass, every satellite pass, every new basin mapped, peels back one more layer of a story that has been hidden under ice for millions of years. And still, most of it remains unreached. Only a handful of these 400 lakes have ever been sampled. The rest sit exactly as they have for millions of years, silent, sealed, and waiting. So the next time you look at a map of Antarctica, remember that the white shape on the surface is only the lid. Underneath it lies an entire hidden world of mountains, canyons, ancient lakes, and possibly life that has never once seen the sun. What else is still down there, waiting to be found?